Dear friends, today I have a very difficult task. I would like to introduce a novel which not only important to a development of Russian literature, but also had a huge impact on other European authors. And I would like to explain how and why in this short introduction to Eugene Onegin. Eugene Onegin is one of the most famous and one of the most important creations of Russian author Alexander Pushkin. It took author 7 years, 4 months and 17 days to finish the whole piece. During this time, not only author himself changed, but the world he was living in as well. Russia in those years changed a lot, so the novel is a wonderful reflection of the growth of the country and development of author's spiritual life. Pushkin himself defined the style of novel as a unrestricted, free novel. Mainly the work was free from stereotypes and cliché patterns. Pushkin's novel was very unusual for that time. First of all, it was written in a poetry. Author invents a special type of verse, which after the novel was called Onegin verse. Novel is based on the personal life experiences of the author, his disappointments and losses. And the author leads to the conclusion that the psychology of personality and life in general cannot be measured by stereotypes. In Eugene Onegin, Pushkin develops special forms of disclosing the image of author in the novel through meditations, memories and confessions, while central characters are revealed through actions, dialogues and monologues. The inner world of his heroes is the result of a very complex influence of the era, education, environment, culture, etc. A hero is always free to decide for himself. It is not only coincidence that the author always outlines the possible behaviors. It is known that initially, in the plot of the novel, Tatiana was assigned only a secondary role, but the act of writing letter to Onegin, she pulled new plot twists, outlined her inner world, and therefore the image itself required further development. And there is one extremely interesting notion of dependence. Duel scene shows exactly this thing, that Onegin, who opposed himself to the local nobility, is dependent on their opinions. And it is no matter how hard he is trying to deny it, he is accustomed to act not in accordance with his inner impulses, not with internal convictions, but with a code of honor, accepted by the society. In fact, Onegin's act reveals what Tatiana previously saw in her dream, that Onegin is not only the part of society, but its brightest representative. In the fate of the main character, as a rule, the contradiction of the era was reflected. Next to him was always a female character who was whole, strong and spiritually rich. The hero went through a test of love, but as a rule could not pass it. The novel had a huge impact on the formation of Russian realistic novel. Many discoveries made by Pushkin while writing that novel were used by other great Russian authors such as Turgenev, Goncharov, Tolstoy, Fyodor Dostoevsky, and other famous Russian authors. The work itself was not published as a whole work altogether, but partially in chapters. Pushkin did not conceive that this decision was made by economic benefit, which is quite understandable. Some interesting bits and pieces hidden in the book, like the name Eugene Onegin, indicates that the hero was unrealistic. Because by that time a nobleman could be connected with a river only if he would own all the river, which would be not impossible in the case of river Onega. Very interesting fact that by the time when Pushkin started to write the novel, he didn't have a general plot in his head. He developed a whole idea of the book and put it back together while writing. Eugene Onegin is also called an Encyclopedia of Russian life of that time, because you can find all sorts of things in the novel: how people dressed, what did they talk about, what was important to them, the education of the time, etc, etc. You have to understand one thing when reading the classical novels. The plot is not everything what is put it in the book. There are so many other things. You just need to know how to find them. I will make a couple of videos by explaining how to search those bits and pieces to understand better the novel, to find those hidden meanings that authors have in mind when writing the novel. That will enrich our reading and understanding in general. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please ask me any questions if you have. Please ask those questions in the comments below. Have a very nice day, have a very nice evening. See you very soon in a next video. Thank you.